knowledge is a very delicate thing. There's a simple little game that children play, you know. You start at one corner of the room and you whisper something in somebody's ear. And then they go to the next person and whisper it in their ear. And then the next person. When it gets to the other side of the room, it's completely different. When the master speaks, it immediately ceases to be what the master said and becomes what the listener heard. And as that gets passed on from generation to generation, you end up with a knowledge that needs to be purified. But there's tremendous aversion to that because people have been taught that these are the words of the master. Don't mess with that. Don't compromise that. Those are divine teachings. But we have to remember the game telephone. They call that game telephone. You pass it from one to the next. So the knowledge needs to be purified. It needs to be regenerated. Generation after generation. Now, how do you do that? There's only one way to do that. To find another living master that can hear those teachings and say, oh yes, well that's not quite exactly what was intended. That's not really quite what Buddha was saying. It's a delicate thing because that knowledge is so precious. Are we just going to listen to somebody who says, oh no, that's not what Buddha meant? What do? Well, you have to become reflective. You have to be discerning. You can't be blind in your convictions, rigidly adhering to how it was said to you and how you heard it, and that's all there is to it. You have to feel in your heart. You have to think with your mind. And if we do that, then we can regenerate the knowledge, and it has to be done. It's inherent in the nature of life that the knowledge gets lost. And it's our responsibility to ourselves, to our children, to our society, to the world, that we do our best to find the truth that dwells deeper than the words. Because the moment the Master speaks those words, they cease to be what the Master said and become what the listener heard. You see? Simple.